Coming up on AgweekTV, a look at Vice Presidential candidate Tim Walz's farm policy.
We'll take you to the grand opening of North Dakota's second dedicated soybean crush plant.
We'll have important information for soybean growers about soybean cyst nematode.
We'll take you to central South Dakota for a look at this year's sunflower crop.
Welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Emily Beal. North Dakota's soybean industry is taking another big step forward. A second crush plant is now operating in the state. Jenny Schlecht has more on the impact this will have on the region's already thriving soybean industry.
North Dakota is one of the top soybean producing states in the nation, but until the past year, most of those soybeans have been exported out of state and out of the country.
When you have projects like this, it strengthens rural communities, it helps strengthen our local main streets.
But that's changing with the opening of the state's second dedicated soybean crush plant. North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum was joined by several state and ag officials to officially open the state's second soybean crush plant. The North Dakota Soybean Processors plant at Castleton now joins the Green Buffalo plant near Jamestown as a place for growers to market their beans locally.
So it's pretty exciting for North Dakota soybean producers because as the U.S., North Dakota, and the world gets more efficient at soybean production, we're continuing to look for and develop new markets for uses for soybeans.
In the past, most soybeans grown in the state were shipped to the Pacific Northwest to be sent overseas for livestock feed. Now they will be crushed here for oil, with the meal being used for livestock feed. North Dakota Soybean Processors President Tom Malika says it makes sense to have the plants here, as Cass, Barnes, and Stutsman counties are among the nation's top soybean producers. And now, growers can sell them close to home every day of the year.
So we're here all the time, providing a very stable and competitive market for the farmer's soybeans, but then also beginning to create off-grade or off-take products like soybean meal for the livestock within the area, in the region, and also soybean oil.
The plant can process 125,000 bushels a day and more than 42 million a year. In Castleton, this is Jenny Schlecht for AgWeek.
North Dakota Soybean Processors is a joint venture between CGB Enterprises and Minnesota Soybean Processors. Vice presidential candidate Tim Walz is being praised as a rural champion. Walz helped shape farm policy during his 12 years in Congress and led a supportive ag agenda for the past 5 years as Minnesota governor. Vice President Kamala Harris picked Walz as her running mate earlier this month. At Farm Fest in Redwood Falls, former North Dakota Senator Heidi Heitkamp highlighted Walz's ag record.
He was instrumental in passing probably one of the most successful farm bills, which actually replaced something that was heinous called Freedom to Farm. We've been building on that ever since in the farm bill. He comes from a farming community. He knows how to hunt and fish. He understands the value of conservation, but also the sense that people have about their private property ownership.
In that farm bill, Walz sponsored legislation to expand veterans' access to farm programs. As governor, he also implemented several programs for farmers, including low-interest loans. Sunflower fields in full bloom are beautiful this time of year. The Dakotas lead the nation in production, and not only are they a tourist attraction, they bring strong economic value to growers. In this week's Ag Week cover story, Kennedy Tesh takes you to an annual event celebrating the sunny crop.
I love sunflowers. They're a beautiful crop. They're fun to grow.
This is Nick Nemec's 51st year of growing sunflowers. He grows them in a rotation with corn and soybeans. In fact, he says sunflowers are his most profitable crop. They're used primarily for bird feed, oil, and snacks, and they help control pest and disease pressure in crops.
Some of the chemicals we use on sunflowers break up the weed disease cycle compared to being straight wheat or corn, and that's a nice addition.
And he loves to promote the sunny crop, like at the annual Sunflower Festival in Highmore. Sunflowers grow well in the dry climate of central South Dakota. Grower John Simonson says sunflowers are good for the soil.
Sunflowers can go down deep and pull those nutrients back up and recover them. So we like them that way. That's part of why they're a profitable crop, is because they are a good scavenger.
In 2023, the U.S. produced nearly 2.5 billion pounds of sunflowers. But Tom Young, executive director of the South Dakota Oilseeds Council, says production is down 30% from recent years, in part because of the invasive red sunflower seed weevil.
We've lost some chemistries that we've been able to use on the farm to control them, and lately we haven't been able to use those. So producers are backing away until we find opportunities to control that insect.
Nemec expects to harvest in November and is able to sell them to a local birdseed plant.
It's just a good crop for us. We like them.
In Highmore, South Dakota, this is Kennedy Tesh for Agweek.
You can read more in the next Agweek magazine and at agweek.com. Up next on AgweekTV, matching cattle and grazing land. There's an app for that.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
Agweek's Summer Corn and Soybean Crop Tour kicks off in July 2024 and runs through September. Join us as we bring you an inside look at the crop conditions across the region with AgweekTV, Agweek Magazine, online at agweek.com, and on social media. Contact your Agweek rep or email ads@agweek.com for value-packed sponsorship opportunities today. And align your brand next to premier content on the Agweek Corn and Soybean Crop Tour this summer.
Come out to Dakota Fest, August 20th through the 22nd in Mitchell, South Dakota. Connect with over 400 exhibitors specialized in row crop and livestock farming. Connect with other ag producers as you attend education sessions and live equipment and cattle shoot demonstrations. Connect with friends, family, and neighbors over food, music, and family fun events like the Kids Pedal Pull. Dakota Fest, growing connections in ag, August 20th through the 22nd. For information and discounted tickets, visit dakotafest.com.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
It was October 1st, 2009. We needed some machinery for the farm. We decided to see if we could become a dealer, and that's kind of grown into what it's been today.
We offer basically anything short line. Seed tenders, fertilizer spreaders, sprayers. We can really set ourselves apart by the knowledge we have in those things, by the amount of units we have on hand at all times.
I just have a passion for helping people, getting to know people. It just becomes a lot of fun.
When it comes to finding cattle to graze extra grassland or cropland to put your cattle on, it can be difficult to know where to turn. That's why the Grazing Exchange was created.
It's kind of like a dating app for livestock. You're trying to match the livestock with the resource, and it's just a way to get the livestock back on the land for maybe guys that don't own livestock, and it really helps out producers when you have dry periods or drought.
We saw a need the year that we started it. There was a bad drought, and especially out west, and having the producers not lose their asset in eliminating their livestock. We wanted them to be able to utilize them on cropland.
Since it was started in 2019, it has expanded and covers all of the United States and parts of Canada. A South Dakota ranch is being recognized for their conservation practices. The Blue River Ranch is the state's 2024 Leopold Conservation Award winner. Father and son, Team Barry and Eli Little, say a conservation-focused approach to farming and ranching has been passed down through generations. Barry says it started in the 1960s with his father. They continue with a variety of practices.
We know we're building for something greater. Just being able to build up our soils, try to get them back to what they were before man came here,
We're optimistic. There's a lot of pessimists in the ag world, and we see the future is bright.
The Littles continue to experiment new things on their 1,800 acres of cattle, small grains, corn, and soybeans. Ag classes are getting some new lessons this year in the world of soybeans. Ariana Schumacher takes us to Beersford High School for a closer look at the program.
I think it'll give them a great opportunity to learn more about soybean production in South Dakota, and how they can utilize it in maybe their future.
Students across South Dakota will be getting a hands-on look at how soybeans are used in different parts of the ag industry, thanks to a new curriculum by the South Dakota Soybean Checkoff.
Oh, I think it's a great opportunity for teachers, young teachers, old teachers, to have curriculum all put together along with the kits to be able to do and just integrate it right into the classroom versus trying to recreate all that stuff too.
The curriculum covers 10 different topics, ranging from how soybeans are used in food to how to make biodiesel.
Each one aligns to a different agricultural pathway is what they're called in ag education. So plant science, animal science, like typical shop classes, all have a certain course of soybean knowledge that aligns to them.
Teachers received a lab kit to go along with the lesson plans at no cost to them.
Ag teachers are constantly gone for FFA. And so to have a resource that has a teacher's guide and all of the step-by-step instructions for teachers for a lab or a big project or activity, or even just a lesson that the kids can learn and read on their own, to have that all included in one place is a huge deal.
Being able to have and utilize a curriculum as well as the materials for free is huge.
In Beersford, South Dakota, this is Ariana Schumacher for Agweek.
If you are a teacher interested in this curriculum, you can find more information at sdsoybean.org or by contacting the South Dakota Soybean Office.
Ahead on AgweekTV, it's time for soybean growers to look for signs of Cyst nematode and what to do if you suspect you have it.
You got salty soils? We can help. Let's talk.
Introducing the all-new Vaterstat Tempo K24, designed and built in the U.S. It combines capacity with superior precision, even at very high speeds. With PowerShoot technology that uses positive air pressure to take full control of the seed from the meter all the way down to the soil, using no belts, motors, or brushes. Start your journey to outstanding emergence. Pre-order your Tempo K today.
So I'm going to put it out under it first, and then I'm just going to keep moving it. Keep doing small squirts. Quick squirt, and it's done.
Conservation is work worth doing here in North Dakota, but with so many conservation groups and resources, it can be hard to find the information that's most beneficial to you. That's why the Dakota Legacy Initiative was created, to equip producers and landowners with timely, relevant, and streamlined information, all in one place. This helps preserve North Dakota's legacy of agriculture, conservation, legendary land, and water. See where collaborative conservation begins. Visit DakotaLegacyInitiative.com today.
Integrity, excellence, teamwork. At Titan Machinery, we take care of our team. Whether you are an experienced technician or looking to start your career, Titan has a spot for you. Earn a competitive pay with the potential to make in excess of 6 figures. Service techs, come grow with a company that invests in you. Titan Machinery offers company HSA and 401k contributions, free single healthcare, and a generous tool allowance. Plus, we'll provide all of your uniform and safety gear. Apply today at titanmachinery.com/careers.
You got salty soils? We can help. Let's talk. Agweek Weather is sponsored by Bremer Bank. Connect with a banker today at bremer.com.
What will the weather be like as we head into the heart of August? Here's John with our AgriWeather Outlook.
The weather pattern, specifically the jet stream weather pattern through the month of August, continues to be discombobulated is the best word I can think of to explain what's happening. The jet speeds are generally speaking fairly weak, but there are curves and tortures and splits, and it's just a mess. It's really kind of like a wintertime pattern that has a polar vortex disruption, except those are wintertime phenomenon. So it's kind of like that. What that means is that we're seeing areas of unusual weather activity around the United States and southern Canada. Generally speaking, the excessive heat that much of the country was having back in July has been suppressed, but it is generally warmer than average, especially throughout the Great Plains and in particular throughout the Rocky Mountains. It's the precipitation that's beginning to start to be impacted by this unusual jet stream pattern, and in particular, the nation's corn and bean belt is showing some evidence that it's starting to dry out here toward the end of summer. Here's what I mean by a kind of a messed up flow pattern. It's really split into, these are kind of what I would call the cores of strongest winds, and they're generally speaking not very strong, but it is allowing for some cool weather back up around Hudson Bay. Most of the United States is pretty warm. A little bit of onshore flow along the west coast has produced some cooler weather there. Hot temperatures, 90 and above, are mostly confined to the high plains, the southern states. The southeast is not unusually warm, although it's very humid, and much of the west has been and will continue to be quite warm. There's a limited surge of cool weather coming into the Canadian Maritimes, but that will stay pretty far north. In this pattern, hurricane activity is mostly deflected out into the Atlantic unless something comes into the Gulf, so that'll limit rainfall chances across the deep south, especially around Texas. And I think in general, underneath this ridging over the south and west, things are going to be fairly dry. There will be, in this odd little mix mash of jet stream winds in the northern plains, be some opportunities for some scattered thunderstorms at times, especially as we start getting into this southwest flow pattern. But I don't see anything really sustaining itself. On into the final week of August, we are starting to see some cooler weather building up outside of Alaska, pushing down into northwestern Canada. No sense that'll drop too far south just yet. And most of the United States is warmer than average, although not excessively so. Now, where will the rains be with this type of a pattern? This first week, there will be some Pacific Northwest rain. There will be some thunderstorm opportunities in the northern plains, but a lot of the Midwest, especially through here, it will be fairly dry. East Coast looks wet. And the last week of August will continue the generally dry weather throughout the plains and upper Midwest.
Storage Pros and Mindac Containers are your premier suppliers of shipping containers, servicing all of North Dakota and Minnesota. From 10 to 53 feet, new and used units, we have your storage solution. Pick up your unit or have it delivered. Call Mike or Jake today.
Add more bushels to your hopper and money to your pocket by harnessing the power of air with Crary Wind Systems. Whether your beans are chest high or barely off the ground, Crary offers two solutions that add a constant stream of high-velocity air to quickly feed crop back to the auger, eliminating bunching, reducing shatter loss, and increasing your ground speed. Don't let crop conditions dictate your yield. Check out the Crary Air Reel or Crary Wind System today.
Come out to Dakota Fest, August 20th through the 22nd in Mitchell, South Dakota. Connect with over 400 exhibitors specialized in row crop and livestock farming. Connect with other ag producers as you attend education sessions and live equipment and cattle shoot demonstrations. Connect with friends, family, and neighbors over food, music, and family fun events like the Kids Pedal Pull. Dakota Fest, growing connections in ag, August 20th through the 22nd. For information and discounted tickets, visit dakotafest.com.
Hamilton System Inc. in Drayton, North Dakota is the North American distributor of the Fantini corn and sunflower header. Both the L03 corn head and the G03 sunflower head have a simple, high-efficiency, low-maintenance PTO-driven gearbox, which eliminates slippage and power loss even in the most trying conditions. These heads are built with a solid one-piece frame and tubular steel construction that will withstand the harshest field conditions. Available in models from 4 to 18 rows, they adapt to any combine and come with a 4-year warranty on the transmission units.
There's no easy button, no guarantees, or promises of a good year. This is farming. It's unpredictable and demanding, with long days and sometimes stressful nights. It's weathering the storms and coming out successful. Farming isn't for everyone. We thank those who make it their life, because it is for everyone.
Storage Pros and MinDAC Containers are your premier suppliers of shipping containers, servicing all of North Dakota and Minnesota. From 10 to 53 feet, new and used units, we have your storage solution. Pick up your unit or have it delivered. Call Mike or Jake today.
AgweekTV Soy Insight, brought to you by the North Dakota Soybean Council.
It's time for soybean growers to be on the lookout for soybean cyst nematode. The yield-stealing pest has been in North Dakota for about 20 years. But as Rose Dunn reports in this month's Soy Insight, there are many things growers can do to control it and stop the spread.
Soybean cyst nematode is a tiny parasite that attaches to the roots of soybean plants. It stunts growth and steals yields.
This is a major issue, especially in eastern North Dakota.
NDSU soybean pathology specialist Wade Webster says there are several things you can do to control SCN. Use SCN-resistant seed varieties or seeds treated with nematicide. Rotating to a non-SCN host crop like corn is a very important part of the program. Non-host cover crops can also help reduce SCN populations.
We can see multiple case studies in which we are able to reduce the populations. The problem is, though, that SCN will never be eliminated from these fields, but they can be managed.
Soil testing will show you when SCN levels have dropped enough to return to planting soybeans. Another important step is to clean and sanitize your equipment when you're moving it from an infected field to another field. SCN are hitchhikers that can even be carried on your boots.
It's really hard to get rid of it once it is established in a field. That's why, introduce to a new field, to a new area is so important.
Guiping Yang is a nematologist at NDSU. She says the generally cooler, wet summer has been better for controlling SCN, along with growers' efforts.
Get close to the late growing season, we may see more, but by now it's not that.
With 2 new soybean crush plants in North Dakota, demand for the crop is high, and Webster says that may also mean an increase in SCN. But he says they're working hard to reduce it and slow the spread to central and western North Dakota. In Fargo, this is Rose Dunn for Agweek.
It's important to test your soil for SCN every year at the end of the season. The North Dakota Soybean Council will cover the cost of soil testing. For more information about the free soil testing program, contact your county extension agent. Up next on AgweekTV, a Minnesota farm is in full bloom.
Do you have salty fields? Try calcine.
We've been putting it on some of our worst spots, and every year you see more bushels, greener crop, healthier crop. Some land down by the river, they almost had to take out of production. We've been able to use calcine and bring it back to equal to the rest of the fields. Calcine mixes with basically anything. We put it down with our starter fertilizer. We've mixed it with herbicides. We've applied it broadcast. We've applied it banded. So it's worked in pretty much any capacity. There's no volatility issues, so it's a very easy to use product.
Let's talk. Visit us at EricksonCustomOperations.com.
Introducing the all-new Vaterstat Tempo K24, designed and built in the U.S. It combines capacity with superior precision, even at very high speeds. With PowerShoot technology that uses positive air pressure to take full control of the seed from the meter all the way down to the soil, using no belts, motors, or brushes. Start your journey to outstanding emergence. Pre-order your Tempo K today.
Add more bushels to your hopper and money to your pocket by harnessing the power of air with Crary wind systems. Whether your beans are chest high or barely off the ground, Crary offers 2 solutions that add a constant stream of high-velocity air to quickly feed crop back to the auger, eliminating bunching, reducing shatter loss, and increasing your ground speed. Don't let crop conditions dictate your yield. Check out the Crary Air Reel or Crary Wind System today.
When it comes to grain storage and handling solutions, one call does it all. Gateway Building Systems is one of the largest Brock bin dealers in the U.S. Our expert team is dedicated to creating a customized plan for your future success. Expanding your operation has never been easier with our range of Brock solid bins, grain dryers, conveyors, and more. As your trusted partner, we are committed to serving the needs of farmers. Take the first step toward success and call Gateway Building Systems today.
So I'm going to put it out under it first, and then I'm just going to keep moving in. Keep doing small squirts. Quick squirt, and it's done.
One Minnesota farm is allowing people to stop and smell the flowers. I traveled to Bliss Flower Farm in Ada to take a look at the blooms.
A lot of people say they just could sit here all day, and so that blesses me to hear that, because that was the vision.
Alyssa Johnson was looking for a business that would fit her young and growing family's needs, and flower farming fit the bill. Bliss Flower Farm started in 2020 and began on the small side, Johnson planting cut flowers in her vegetable garden. But over the years, it has blossomed. Now Bliss Flower Farm hosts You Pick events where people can come out and pick their own farm fresh bouquet.
So yeah, people come and we give them a cup, a different size cup, depending on what they'd like, and snips, and they get to just stroll and pick whatever colors and styles they want. It's so fun to watch the different bouquet varieties that walk out of the field.
Johnson's husband, Paul Johnson, farms a variety of crops with his father and brother. He said in many ways, flower farming was quite similar to farming traditional crops.
A lot of I think the same things like fertility, weed management, and just seeding rate and seed bed preparation, tillage. A lot of those things seem like they kind of translate between the crops.
The couple's daughter, Esley Johnson, enjoys helping her parents in the flower field and already knows the importance of pollinators.
Bees and butterflies, because they help the flowers.
On August 20th, Bliss Flower Farm will hold its third annual Flower Fest, which includes vendors, growers, crafters, food trucks, and much more.
I'm just really excited to share the farm with people and just allow them to, again, slow their pace a little bit, visit with friends, and it's really a celebration of community.
For Alyssa Johnson, one of the most impactful parts of flower farming is the connection she sees in the soil into everyday life.
God speaks through flowers, and how flowers are pretty resilient, and I think there's many things in our lives too that we can see as similar challenges, but in all of it we can still be growing and still be blooming, whatever that looks like for each of us.
Bliss Flower Farm stays open until the first fall frost. Stories you'll only see on Agweek.com and in Agweek magazine this week. Minnesota farm groups give their reaction to Governor Tim Walz being on a presidential ticket. And American Crystal Sugar kicked off pre-piles harvest. We appreciate you watching Agweek TV. Remember to check us out daily on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to keep up on all your ag news. Have a wonderful week, everyone.